Hi everyone, welcome back to a new weekend episode from DGMZ, Diwan-e-Ghalib Meri Zubani. To all our returning viewers, welcome back. We are very glad you could join us again. And for the new viewers, we are very happy that you discovered the podcast and decided to tune in. For the new viewers, my recommendation would be access the introduction to DGMZ episode because that will give you some insight into the background, the inspiration, the motivation behind this podcast. What are we trying to do here? Also, for your awareness, we have two playlists. The first playlist consists of these weekend episodes where we get into ghazals from Diwan-e-Ghalib one by one. The second playlist is of bonus episodes. Here we cover additional topics, still focused on Urdu poetry, still focused around Mirza, sometimes topics around DGMZ events, etc. So explore both playlists and whatever interests you, do access that episode. In addition, we also have the community tab where we post every now and then. So just letting you know how to navigate content for DGMZ on the channel. Now, if you were with me in the last episode, you would know that we currently are in Ghazal 16 from Diwan-e-Ghalib. This ghazal has 7 shares or couplets. In the last episode, we were able to cover 3. We still have 4 to go. Now, as always, I will read the ghazal and then we will get into impressions verse by verse. But I will not read the entire ghazal. I did that in the last episode, Ghazal 16 part 1. So if you want to access that, you can tune into that episode. Today I'm only going to read the couplets that are remaining. So that would be couplet 4 to couplet 7. So this is how it goes. कुछ न की अपने जुनून-ए-ना-रसा ने वरना यां कुछ न की अपने जुनून-ए-ना-रसा ने वरना यां ज़र्रा ज़र्रा रुक्श-ए-खुर्शीद-ए-आलम-ताब था। आज क्यों परवाह नहीं अपने असीरों की तुझे। आज क्यों परवाह नहीं अपने असीरों की तुझे। कल तलक तेरे भी दिल महरो-वफा का बाब था। याद कर वो दिन कि हर एक हल्का तेरे दाम का। याद कर वो दिन कि हर एक हल्का तेरे दाम का। इंतज़ार-ए-सैद में एक दीदा-ए-बे-ख्वाब था। मक्ता अर्ज़ किया है, मैंने रोका रात गालिब को वगर ना देखते। मैंने रोका रात गालिब को वगर ना देखते। उसके सैले गिरिया में गर्दू कफ़े सैलाब था। So, as I explained at the beginning of Ghazal 16 part 1 episode, this ghazal has this aspect which is not common in Ghalib's ghazals. So Ghalib's ghazals, the most common aspect, the most common jazba behind them is that of unrequited love and all the feelings and the pain and the anguish associated with it. But this ghazal goes a step further than that. The ghazal captures a scenario where, yes, there is unrequited love. Ghalib's beloved is not responding to his advances or his proposal of love, but also then goes ahead with a rival lover, putting Ghalib in this position of being a helpless observer, where he watches her probably say and do things with the rival lover which he had wished and desired she would do with him as his lover. So the pain and the anguish is more intense, and it shows Ghalib's usual stance towards unrequited love change, wherein by taking this action of accepting a rival lover, the beloved has bought a finality. She's bought an end to the hope which was Ghalib's key to survival. Right? So just keep that in mind, and all these couplets will probably show you even deeper layers than just unrequited love. So let's get into the fourth couplet. Kuchh na ki apne Junuun-e-na-Rasaa ne Varna Yaan. Let's do an approximate translation. Kuchh na ki. It didn't do anything. It was useless. It was ineffective. Apne Junuun-e-na-Rasaa ne. My intense So Narasa is not being able to obtain something, not reaching the destination, not getting fulfilled. And Junoon is this intoxication, this desire, this fervor to achieve something, right? So Ghalib is saying that this fervor and intensity and passion and desire and quest that I had was fell short in terms of reaching its target, hitting the mark, being effective. So the first line is where that, like I was saying, that finality is captured, where Ghalib accepts the fact or starts to believe the fact that probably the reason behind this unrequited love is not entirely about the beloved not reciprocating. Probably even before that, to begin with the intensity, to begin with the fervor and the energy behind his efforts was lacking. And because the effort was not up to the mark, the intensity was not up to the mark, the fervor was not up to the mark, its ability to hit the target was compromised. And hence the beloved did not get impressed, did not believe, did not reciprocate. So the first line says that I have to agree that this passion of mine, this fervor of mine was ineffective. It was ineffective. I have to accept it. Because had it been effective, she would not have gone with the rival lover. And for viewers who have not tuned into the previous episode. Just for your benefit, the first three couplets in the previous episode do cover that scenario where the beloved has gone ahead with the rival lover. So that's why the reference to it again and again. So yes, Ghalib is saying that I have to accept the fact. I have to accept the fact that despite me believing that I gave it all I had, despite me believing that nobody ever loved or hurt like I did for my beloved. Despite all that, despite me feeling this love sucking the life out of me, right? I will accept. I will accept the fact that it was ineffective. It was ineffective. It did not hit the mark. It did not bring the result it was supposed to. अब ये जो वर्ड कॉम्प्लेक्स है, Junuun-e-na-Rasaa. Junoon, like I said, my fervor, my passion, my desire, and Narsa is something which is ineffective. And ये एक बहुत प्यारा लफ्ज़ है जो कि उर्दू पोइट्री में आप सुनेंगे. गालिब ने खुद इसको काफ़ी जगह यूज़ किया है. ये एक शेर है गालिब का जिसमें उन्होंने ये वर्ड यूज़ किया है. मज़ा तो जब है कि आए आहे नारसा हमसे, वो खुद कहे कि बता तेरी आरज़ू क्या है. So आहे narsa. Ah is a sigh. Narsa, as we went over it, ineffective. Not hitting its mark. Missing the mark. So Ghalib is saying the real fun, the real high will be if this unrequited, unfulfilled sigh on its way to being unfulfilled turns around and asks me, okay, what's your wish? What do you wish for? What do you wish for? So basically, by extension, when it is almost absolutely irrevocably established that this sigh is not going to hit its mark or is not going to be effective, by some stroke of fate, it pivots, turns on its head, and comes and asks me, okay, what do you want? What's your wish? And grants me that. The second one is from Aziz Kasi. Ah be-asar nikli, Nalaa-e-Dil nikla. Ah be-asar nikli, Nalaa-e-Dil nikla. एक खुदा पे ताकिया था, वो भी आपका निकला. So basically the approximate translation is that my sighs have been ineffective, my cries have not hit the mark. There was this one God whom everybody believed in, who was everybody's last hope. And lo and behold, even he turned out to be your God. By extension, not mine. He also favored you. So all the prayers also that were listened were yours, not mine. So that would give you the, hopefully those Sher gave you the flavor around this word narsa, something which remains unfulfilled, something that misses its mark, something that is ineffective. And usually not ineffective because it lacked. Ineffective usually because of just bad luck. And that is why the choice of words that Ghalib had, one needs to really get into them. So, this ineffectiveness is not because of the regular run of the mill reasons where you haven't put in effort. This ineffectiveness is almost cruelty of fate, wherein you gave it all. You gave it all you had, and then some more, but still it did not bring forth the results it should have. And when we say it should have, if somebody else would have done it, they would have gotten the same result. But when you did it, you did not get the same results. And that he captures in the first couplet also, where he talks about those Sipand seeds, right? He says everybody uses Sipand seeds and they are able to ward off evil and protect good. When my sighs, just like crackling Sipand seeds, was sent out to the beloved, they did nothing like that. In fact, they did almost the opposite. They protected her and the rival lover, and they doomed my chances of love with her. So one has to keep that in mind when thinking of Narsa. Now in the second line he says, so in the first line he has accepted that his sighs are ineffective, and then in the first line he has these two words, Varna, otherwise. And that is again something very beautiful. So he will tell you the abysmal, dejected reality, but then he does take a moment to explain to you that, well, this is what happened, but this is what could have happened. And what could have happened was Zarra, 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 Ruu-Kash-e-Khurshid-e-Aalam-Taab tha. Now, Zarra, Zarra by literal translation would be the smallest, right? What is that word I'm looking for? Universe, the smallest, not the speck, but the smallest element of the universe, right? The smallest entity of the universe. So basically, the smallest thing possible. I'm not getting the word. Let me think, otherwise I'll spoil this. Give me 1 minute. What is that word? Okay, we will, in interest of time, move on. But Zarra, Zarra basically is the smallest elemental piece of anything. The smallest elemental piece of anything. So universe and then the smallest elemental piece in it. So what Ghalib is saying, had this not been ineffective, what would have been the scenario like? Well, had my sighs been effective, had they hit the mark, they would have been like the sun. So in the second line he says, Zarra, Zarra, Ruu-Kash-e-Khurshid-e-Aalam-Taab tha. Every particle, oh finally, particle, that is what I was looking for. Every particle of my being, every particle of my being would have shone like the sun. You know how, metaphorically speaking, how sun can turn anything to gold. Metaphorically speaking. Things are dark, things are damp, things are quiet, things are hidden, and suddenly when the sun comes out, everything is illuminated, everything is shining, everything is bright, everything turns to gold. That is the beauty of the sun. And Ghalib here says that I also, I also had the capacity, I also had the capacity of shining like a sun and turning every particle of my being into gold with my efforts I had put in love, right? And by particle, I mean his being. It consists of the beloved also, but basically the idea was that just like sun through its light changes things into gold, right? Brings life, brings light to everything. The same capacity existed in my love, or so I believed, to change everything into gold, including my beloved, my surroundings, my entire being, her entire being. Such would have been my love. Such was the caliber of my love. But unfortunately, by some bad stroke of luck, I fell short. And I will accept that. I fell short. But I will accept it, but not before I explain to you what would have happened had I not felt short. Had I not felt short, I would have made my love turn me, her, everything around us, this entire universe around us, into gold. Such was the radiance and the light and the beauty of my love. It was a worthy opponent. My love was a worthy opponent, a worthy competitor to the sun up in the sky. And I always say, love and light, when I end the episodes, if there is something if there is something which can compete with the sun in terms of light, probably it is love, because it carries illumination and radiance that, just like the sun, beats every logic, beats every calculation, cannot be hidden. When it's there, it's everywhere. You cannot hide it. When it's out, it's out. When the sun is shining, nothing escapes it. It touches everything. And that is how love is too, in my humble opinion. So yeah, the first line is sad, where he accepts the fact that did not have the impact it was supposed to. My love, my sighs did not have the impact they were supposed to. But had they would have given the sun a run for its money. They would have illuminated and turned me, my beloved, our universe, every particle of our being and existence into gold, just like the sun does when it shines on anything and everything. And okay, let's get into the next share. आज क्यों परवाह नहीं, आज क्यों परवाह नहीं अपने असीरों की तुझे, आज क्यों परवाह नहीं अपने असीरों की तुझे, कल तलक तेरे भी दिल मेहरो-वफा का बाब था. This is an interesting share, and we will enjoy it. Okay, so thankfully not a very complicated share. आज क्यों परवाह नहीं अपने असीरों की तुझे. So असीरों is a word which probably we should spend a minute on. So the literal translation of asiro is prisoner, captive. And इसके लिए, just to get the flavor of this word, because that is the pivotal word, or that is the centerpiece in this couplet. Let's go through a few other shares, right? So ये वाला हफीज़ जौनपुरी का है. कहर ढाएंगी असीरों की तड़प, सॉरी, कहर ढाएगी असीरों की तड़प और भी उलझेंगे हल्के दाम के. एंड मैंने ये शेर इसमाइल उठाया, इसमें इतने सारे वो लफ्ज़ हैं जो कि हम लोग इस गज़ल में कवर कर रहे हैं. सो एक ही शेर में वी आर एक्चुअली कवरिंग टू थ्री वर्ड्स फ्रॉम आर गज़ल. सो कहर ढाएगी असीरों की तड़प, it will bring down, वो क्या वर्ड है ना, फायर एंड lime, or fire and limestone, something to that effect. It will bring down fire and limestone, these sighs of the prisoners, these tortured sighs of the prisoners. और भी उलझेंगी हल्के दाम की, and they will make those chains get even more entangled, more intricate, more confining, right? So the ache and the anxiety and the pain and the captivity of the prisoners will add to the entanglement created by the chains they are bound in, right? So again, you get the flavor of the word asiro, captivity, imprisonment. ये वाला जो है ये दाग दहलवी का एक शेर है. छुड़ा दे कैद से ए बर्क हम असीरों को, छुड़ा दे कैद से ए बर्क हम असीरों को, लगा दे आग कफस को भी आशियाने की तरह. So basically the approximate translation is lightning, come and free us, come and free us, the prisoners. Lightning, come and free us from this imprisonment. We are captives here, just like you came down on our homes. Ashiya is homes, actually nests, bird nests, right? So one of the, again, a very commonly and beautifully used concept in Urdu poetry is that when lightning strikes, one of the most vulnerable things, or one of the most vulnerable targets, are these nests in the trees. The trees will survive, the grass will survive, the houses will survive, but those nests seldom survive. They are an easy target. And they not only get impacted by the sheer force of the lightning, but because of the nature of the material they are made of, they burn if lightning strikes them. Unlike a lot of other things who have enough moisture to many a times not burn up by the lightning, these nests will immediately catch fire. So there is a little sarcasm here, right? That we are in a prison, okay? So lightning, you have been very good at destroying our homes, right? You've been very good at destroying our precious dear homes. Why don't you do that again? And this time, come and destroy this forever prison that we are captured in. And then the last one which I wanted to share with you is from Muhammad Alvi. मौत भी दूर, बहुत दूर कहीं फिरती है. मौत भी दूर, बहुत दूर कहीं फिरती है. कौन अब आके असीरों को रिहाई देगा. बहुत प्यारा शेर है. So approximate translation is death. Death stays far. Death stays very far from us. So the question now is, who is after all going to come and free us. Because for everyone, the ultimate freedom, if nothing else happens, there is this ultimate freedom from everything when you die. But these prisoners can see death kind of keeping its distance from them, not coming to them. Not coming to them, and hence these prisoners are asking, what is gonna happen to us? If death also is not going to come and free us, who will? Who will? By extension, no one will. We are stuck. We will stay imprisoned forever. Okay. So, आज क्यों परवाह नहीं अपने असीरों की तुझे? Coming back to the Ghazal. Ghalib is asking his beloved, why today you suddenly have this careless, I do not care kind of an attitude towards your prisoners and captives? By extension, metaphorically, these prisoners and captives are people who have been enraptured by her beauty, fallen for her, or she has smitten them willingly or not, just by her sheer beauty, not even realizing it probably. But they are all these people who are her captives or her prisoners, have fallen for her. And Ghalib is saying that suddenly today, today, suddenly you do not care for all these people. Why? And then in the second line he says, Kal, yesterday. Kal talak, till yesterday. Tera bhi dil, your heart also. Mehr-o-Wafaa ka Baab tha. Mehr is grace, Wafa is loyalty. And Baab is a door, an entrance. So he's saying that till yesterday, your heart was also a door to grace and loyalty. So heart being a door means the heart, if you went inside the heart, it was filled with grace and loyalty. And it's a very interesting couplet, because here Ghalib is saying that I agree. You did not love these people. They were, for all practical purposes, your prisoners and captives, to you at least, even to them. But you still had a very benevolent, graceful, kind, compassionate loyalty towards them. You still felt a connection towards them simply because you knew that they were smitten by you, that they were yours to keep if you would have them, that they loved, cared, or had fallen for you despite knowing that you did not reciprocate that feeling. That fact itself made you feel kind towards them. So now, as you know, again, coming back to the background story of the Ghazal, the beloved has chosen someone. She is no longer looking for a lover, right? She has made a choice. She is going forward with one person that she has chosen as her lover. So suddenly all these other people who were in the race are seeing a huge change in her stance. So when she was not in love with someone and she was just probably looking for someone to love, or was just enjoying the attention she was getting from all, from all avenues, her stance was different. She was nice to everyone. because there was no one special. Everybody was equally special, right? But now suddenly she's found someone special. She has decided to go ahead with someone else, and her attitude towards all these people have changed. And काबिले गौर बात यह है कि Ghalib is part of this collective. Ghalib is part of this collective of asiro, right? Of these captives or prisoners who she used to have a very compassionate dynamic, right? She used to have a very compassionate dynamic with these people, and suddenly she has become very callous, very careless, very distant and harsh and rigid and unkind to these people. So Ghalib is just requesting her to remember. Ghalib is requesting her to remember, questioning her, why has she forgotten those days? Those days were not very far in the past. It was like yesterday. It was like yesterday. So that's what Ghalib is doing in this couplet. Let's move on to the next sher. याद कर वो दिन कि हर एक हल्का है तेरे दाम का. So approximate translation, remember that day. Remember that day when each and every noose or entrapment of your net, Intizaar-e-Said में, in the waiting of a prey, एक Diida-e-be-Khwaab था, was round and open and unblinking like an eye that had not slept. And when I was going through, when I was researching on this, I saw a lot of people have just expressed their amazement, in the parallel Ghalib draws here, where he has compared the noose which a hunter will put on the ground, right, for a prey to put their feet in it and then get caught, to the eye of the beloved. So it's a strange visual parallelism which Ghalib is doing here, but Ghalib is trying to make a point. Ghalib is trying to make a point that you suddenly, after finding a lover, you suddenly have completely forgotten that you too, just like us, was looking for love, searching for love, trying to almost capture love by hook or by crook, right? Here, Ghalib, in a very detailed and explicit way, is showing us the contrast between how he approaches love and how the beloved approaches love. Ghalib's love is set them free, right? Set them free. Beloved's approach is capture. He is actually comparing the beloved to a hunter. And the lover she is going to capture, he is comparing that lover to a prey. And what he's detailing here is that is how the beloved is going to capture her lover. She is going to put a snare. She is going to entrap the person. Now, be it by her beauty, her talks, a mix of both, whatever the ingredients might be, but there is a whole plot. There's a whole plot here, and Ghalib is saying that don't forget the days when you used to sit in wake like a hunter, with your noose spread far and wide all the time, and the noose was open for the prey 24/7, just like your eye that was open, alert, and searching for the prey 24/7. No sleep, no rest, till I get someone ensnared, till I get someone captured. So, यहाँ पर काफ़ी अजीब बात है ये. एकदम ऐसा लग रहा है कि एक तरीके से गालिब कह रहे हैं काफ़ी जिसे कहते हैं ना सब स्टैंडर्ड स्टाइल है आपका टू कैप्चर लवर्स. माय डियर बिलवेड, ये जो आपका स्टाइल है ना, ये बहुत आर्केक, मिडीवियल, इनह्यूमेन और सब स्टैंडर्ड है. इस तरह से प्यार नहीं ढूंढा जाता, इस तरह से प्यार नहीं किया जाता. ये जिस तरह से आप जाल बिछा के कर रहे हो, और जिस तरह से जाल बिछा के आपने किया, अब आपको ये लवर मिल गया है. एंड इसमें ये वर्ड जो इस्तेमाल किया है इंतज़ार-ए-सैद में, इन द वेट ऑफ द प्रे. सो सैद एंड सैयद, ये अगेन very commonly used concept in Urdu poetry, and I did think that we should spend some time with it. So Saad is game, prey, whatever is being hunted, right? And Sayyid is of course the hunter, the huntsman, the one who will capture the prey. So एक दो शेर इसके हम लोग देखते हैं. That is if I get the correct paper. Okay, so this one is from John Elia. ज़ौक़े परवाज़े तबो ताब अता फरमाकर, ज़ौक़े परवाज़े तबो ताब अता फरमाकर, सैद को लैके सयाद किया है मैंने. Not like सयाद किया है मैंने. So the approximate translation is that give me the credit for having for developing this taste, right? For developing this taste in myself. Give me the credit of developing this taste in myself, making myself so tasteful, right? So that the hunter, by extension the beloved, finds me worthy of being hunted. Finds me worthy of being hunted. So, so what John Elia is saying is, don't give all the credit to the hunter. Don't give all the credit to the hunter. You have to reserve some credit for the hunted also. Because if the hunter is of such great caliber, the beloved with all her beauty and everything, the hunted also has to be of great caliber to make the hunter want to hunt them, right? So that the Sher captures that dynamic between the hunted and the hunter. And then this is another one from Faiz Ahmad Faiz, which says, अब के बरस दस्तूरे सितम में क्या क्या बाब इजाद हुए. अब के बरस दस्तूरे सितम में क्या क्या बाब इजाद हुए, जो कातिल थे मकतूल हुए, जो सैद थे अब सयाद हुए. The hunter becomes the hunted. That is the approximate translation. So what Faiz Ahmad Faiz is saying is that this year the tradition of torture has some new gates opened, new chapters added to it, right? Wherein the murderers have become the murdered and the hunted have become the hunters. So the tables have turned. So I thought these two couplets do capture that dynamic very well. Uh, Moving on to the Maqta, this is the last couplet. मैंने रोका रात गालिब को वगरना देखते. Last night I stopped Ghalib, otherwise you would have seen. उसके सैले गिरिया में गर्दों का सैलाब था. Sale Giria. Sale is flood, Giria is crying. The flood created by his crying. Gardu is heavens. And Kaf-e-Sailab, the froth that floats on top of water. Now, what this sher is talking about is, so again, this is the Maqta, this is the last sher, everything is coming to a climax here. So now Ghalib has observed this whole fiasco of her going with the rival lover, and now Ghalib is back home probably, and now it is time to indulge in the pain. Now it is time to give in to the pain, the anguish that this has caused. And here comes the flood of those unushed, uncried tears. Tears with so much force and intensity that they will bring a flood. They can bring a flood. A flood which, unlike other floods that stay on the earth, this flood will reach the heavens. It will fill the space between the heaven and the earth, wherein heavens will appear like the froth on top of a foaming sea. Right? So the space between the earth and heavens will be filled with the flood caused by the tears. So that's the approximate translation. Now, मैंने रोका रात गालिब को वगरना देखते. I stopped Ghalib. So nothing happened. Last night I stopped Ghalib. Otherwise, now, had I not stopped Ghalib, what would have happened? That is the second line. So last night I stopped Ghalib. Otherwise, you would have seen a natural calamity. A natural calamity. You would have seen uske sale giria mein, in Ghalib's flood of tears. Now, sale is flood. So, sale pe ye ek sher hai, again, Ahmad Faraz ka. तू अनवारी है ना गालिब. सो ढूंढ के शेर पकड़ा है. इसमें गालिब का नाम है. तू अनवारी है ना गालिब, तो फिर ये क्यों है फराज? हर एक सैले बला तेरे घर को जाता है. Beautiful शेर. Approximately translated means, you are not Ghalib or some famous poet. You're not Ghalib. You are not some famous poet. Then why, Faraz, all these floods of misfortunes make a beeline for your house or your home? Why? And Faraz, of course, Ahmad Faraz is a very famous Urdu shair, and he's quoting Ghalib because Ghalib is the man, right? The man of misfortunes. All floods of misfortunes, pain and anguish were Ghalib's. Ghalib had a propriety right on them, had a monopoly on them, right? But Faraz is very sweetly saying, I'm not Ghalib, I'm no famous poet. Then why these floods make a beeline for me, these floods of misfortune? This is another one, again Ahmad Faraz. इश्क नशा है न जादू, इश्क नशा है न जादू, जो उतर भी जाए, ये तो एक सैले बला है, सो गुजर भी जाए. Beautiful Sher. So the approximate translation is, love is not an intoxication. Love is not a fervor. Love is not a feeling, elation that will go up and then come down. That's not love. What love is, it's a flood of misfortunes. It's a flood of misfortunes, and the only way for it to finish is for it to happen or to flow. आग का दरिया है और डूब के जाना है. There is no shortcut. There is no circumventing. There is no escapism from it. There is no break from it. The only way this is going to finish is for it to happen in its entirety. There is no escapism from it. So मैंने रोका रात गालिब को वगरना देखते, उसके सैले गिरिया में गर्दुए कफ़े सैलाब था. Had I not stopped him, and Ghalib had started to indulge in his pain last night, he would have created a flood of tears, and that flood would have filled the space between the heavens above, Gardoon, and the earth below. So much so that you would almost feel as if the heavens were a foam or froth floating atop a sea. You would see nothing else. Everything would be water, with just these heavens floating on top of the sea. So, yeah, that brings us to the end of the 16th Ghazal. I hope you enjoyed the impressions. If you did like listening to the content, request you to click like. If you have a comment, do share it. It's always very encouraging to read the comments and see the likes. If you know somebody who will enjoy this content, feel free to share it with via your social media, Facebook, WhatsApp, whatever you use, YouTube. But yeah, I really enjoyed going through this Ghazal with you, and I look forward to getting into Ghazal 17 next time. Till then, everybody, lots of love and light to you. Thanks for watching.